Howdy do. So this time we'll look into MP MIDI updates and specifically related to Ableton Live and how to use MP MIDI with Ableton Live. They also introduced a tool called Blocking Panel, which will make life easy. Specifically for you if you are also suffering from the wrench dilemma with Ableton, the small icon in a plugin that opens up and closes the window, because Ableton is incapable of creating a keyboard shortcut that would open the selected plugin window. I don't know why it is so difficult for them, as it has been quite easy for others, but with this you are able to kind of overcome it and use Ableton Live a bit more fluently. That's my opinion. You might have different views, but anyway, let's get into it and see what does this mean. Okay, so I actually had a video regarding on how to drum rack your drum, and here in this video I will actually use that as a baseline. Anyway, the main topic with this is that you see the screen on the right hand side and lower corner. That's the screen of the MP MIDI controller, and then of course you see my main screen over there as well. And one thing that has been quite challenging in Ableton to come by is that when you are here and you would like to open up a effect, like let's say that you want to open up this effect, you need to go and click on this wrench. There is no way you can actually do a keyboard shortcut for that, or I take my word back, you could do that, but that's very clumsy. So you could go for here to key map, and then say that okay, let's key map this with E, small e. And now when I press E, I can actually then open and close that one, but it's only tied to this specific plugin in this specific track, so it doesn't work globally, and so it's very annoying. It can be helpful on certain cases, like in your master channel, but this is not the way to do it, at least in my opinion, and I deleted it. But anyway, let's go back to the topic that how then MP MIDI would help you there. So first of all, they also introduced this Ableton MPH while ago, which is basically then this plugin. With that you can control the whole Ableton. You can basically control Ableton Live devices, and so if I now would go and I could add maybe let's go and I add I'll add just a simple utility into this channel. So now I'm able to control the utility here from the MP MIDI. I can work with the channel modes. I can do a bass mono, so I can also program these buttons into it. I can go to this and I can go to a previous device. I can also go to the next track. So then I'm in the battery track. On top, I'm able to start a mixer. So from here I can then arm the track, I can solo the track, I can mute the track, I can select a track. If it would be a folder, then I would be able to do that as well. But then I can go back to the blocking panel, where I am able to then go into my my channels that I have defined here in the MP MIDI environment. So for example, in the kick channel, I have this MPH multi effects plugin. So that is a host plugin that hosts my my plugins within that channel. So if I go there and I click now, and I'm able to get a sweet EQ, and then when I'm able to now basically, you know, do whatever I want to do for the kick, for example, to make it fat or and whatever. Or then I could go to the host and check and take the fuel and then, you know, make it really like thick and nasty kick in that respect. Now if I would like to go back to the mixer, I can just then switch over here. But if I would also close this one, and then I still have all my plugin windows. So if I would like to go to snare and also deal with the fuel on the snare channel, then basically I can I'm over there, and then I can also, you know, do the same stuff with that. I can, you know, add some compression and whatnot, whatever I would like to. Or then if I would like to go to EQ and do something like let's say I would maybe then let's see, yeah, if I would basically low cut for some reason, I could do that easily, or whatever. I can also do this in a touchscreen as well. Hope if that is, you see that in my camera, but I'm able to actually then move this in with my finger. So I can use these rotary encoders, but then I can also, you know, use my finger and do use it in that respect. So it gives me a lot of flexibility, but moreover, I don't need to go and click that small wrench to get into my plugin. And if I would like to add a plugin into this chain, I go here, I have my favorite plugins defined. Let's say I would like to use Soothe. In this case, I get it here. I have already mapped it, so I can actually then start working on it. I don't need to kind of do that. They also do have an auto mapper. What if I would like to then go back to the fuel on that channel? Or what if I would like to go totally different channel? Then I click on the plugin panel. I want to go to clap and then work on that clap. Let's go there. The same if I want to kind of lift highs and blah blah blah, whatever. Anyway, I think you got an idea. So I don't need to touch that damn wrench to open up the plugin, and I can go to any channel and of course if I add a new channel into Ableton, I'm just kind of going different channels within the battery. But of course this works cross. So if I would go now and I'll add let's add a MIDI track. Let's add a default track. Let's put something there, like let's put maybe a just in this case like Baby Audio BA1. Then I would like to add into that channel, I would like to add the multi FX plugin into this track. So now I have it here. I could go and add my first plugin. I could use, in this case, I could use a fab filter. Then for the next I could basically then add my compressor that I would like to use, maybe an 1176. Then I might wanna add some like let's say some effects, like some modifications. So I go and take a culture burger, and again everything is already mapped, so I can just start tweaking and stay in the flow with the synth. Now actually I have the audio. Let's go back to the Ableton. So I have that soloed, but if I want to solo this so that I can hear what I'm playing, I can do that. Or then yeah. So and now if I want to go into that channel where I have my my instrument, the baby audio, I can go directly into the compressor. Okay, I want to kind of increase my input, I want to decrease my output, I want to move with my attack, and I want to make my release really fast. Anyway, I hope you get the picture, so that I'm able to navigate extremely fast from a channel to another to a plugin without actually touching the so mighty wrench in Ableton. So this makes a workflow a lot faster in Ableton, because you don't need to kind of go and, hey, I want to hit that damn wrench there, and with this you save a lot of time, and also your mouse wrist will not, like, it will actually thank you, because you can do everything here and work with that. Okay, so that was short update regarding on Ableton MPH from MP MIDI, and how it makes things a lot more faster and fluent with Ableton Live, and how you can go and access plugins and see them in action without that mighty wrench. Also, you get basically haptic or tactical feedback when doing things, so you don't need to actually use mouse, which makes also things a little bit more easy in that respect, and fluent, so you can really concentrate on creating music and focusing on sound and creativeness, and you know, have a hands-on experience of doing that. Okay, hopefully you liked the video, so please remember to give me thumbs up as well if you liked the video. That's important, helps my channel. And then of course subscribe if you want to see more of these type of tips and tricks from Ableton, Pro Tools, Luna, Logic Pro and whatnot. I will continue doing this every now and then, and still of course also continuing with hybrid model topics with different digital audio workstations. So remember to subscribe, like my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye now.